So first thing I think that I'm gonna do on this car is, kind of delete everything that we're gonna be not necessarily using. Kind of get it all out of the way. Start everything where we're fresh. Maybe seal it up, do a little freshen up. And then after that, we're gonna swap the pan, start putting the manifold on, and then start chopping some stainless, get some pie cuts made, and start basically mocking up of where, I can get it pretty close to where the turbo is going to sit. And then, once we get the turbo, then we can kind of finalize on where we're going to go. I think for sure we're going to end up chopping this and chopping here, maybe even this whole section. And then, we're going to chop it to be able to basically, for one, have a little bit more room, for two, clean this up. These things are kind of cheesy anyways. I don't necessarily like factory crash support. Some people are like, oh, you chopped the car, you ruined the crash, you ruined everything on the car. Honestly, bro, I just made it stronger. So that's my theory on these. When you go full race car, is why you're gonna have this tin can that I can literally flex up and down when I could put some solid metal in there. So we're gonna go down that road. As far as the fuse box, so these cars are a little bit easier than my fuse box and like the newer gens. These ones are super straightforward. They it's almost like Subaru's like, hey, we'll just give them the idea, or not really the idea, the availability to just basically take all this out. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this box, we're going to take it all out, we're going to take the basically all this plastic off, we're going to unplug it all from the bottom, and then we're going to take all this excess wire, feed it back through here. And then pretty much with these, you have like your alternator, and some charging, just your charging stuff, and like AC, power steering, things like that. So with these cars, I like to make the starter a pre-post, so that'll be one post. So we'll take this and we'll duck it down into the fender, and then we'll basically lengthen this, where is it? We'll lengthen this alternator cable to where we could wrap it along the frame rail and then through back up to the starter. And then from the starter, we'll go from the starter up and then to the actual alternator. And then it'll eliminate all of this. This will all be gone. So this whole section will be gone. Fuel lines will be gone. We're gonna go to Chase Bay's brake booster. And then pretty much that sums it up for this. So I guess, I don't really know how to do YouTube channels. I don't really know how to do videos. I don't know what you guys need to see or what you don't need to see. Basically, I don't really know. Like as far as the ABS, when you get to a certain power, it's a wise choice to delete it. You start, freaking ABS out during launches and stuff. So instead of having, there's ways to incorporate it still and get away with it and bypass it. But, it's easier, it makes the bay look cleaner. I don't really necessarily need ABS for what I use my car for, this car either. So we're going to delete ABS. It's pretty straightforward. You just take it out, throw it in the trash, and that's pretty much it. Not really though, but you want to take this out, these lines. So I believe this guy is your bias valve. So this is going to be like your factory bias. This is going to the rear brakes. And then you have your in and out. Of course, it's going from the master to this. So those ones will be deleted. The front ones will be they'll be there, but they won't be there. And then it'll kind of clear all this up. You'll have an ABS light on, but I actually found a way to bypass that and not have that, and that's simply by just taking this apart, and then you basically take the guts out of it and then just keep the brain, plug it back in, throw it under the dash or throw it somewhere, mount it somewhere, and you'll have your speedo and all that. Because on the new gens, I'm not 100% sure on these ones, but the new gens, the speedo actually runs through ABS as part of a signal. So if you don't have this actually working, then you won't have a speedo no matter what you do. So you have to basically dummy this to where it goes back together in some way. It won't trip anything out because of course it's not set up to anything. All right, so we got this all taken apart. This is the fuse box. This right here is where the power comes in for the fuse box. So that's your main. So that's going to be this guy right here. So we will have to make a new main for this. And the alternator comes out of this. So we're probably just going to have to lengthen the alternator cable. So it's a little different than the new gens. I don't know, it's been a while since I've done one of these, so I was mistaken, so now we're clear on that. These just have some tabs on the side that you just get a little pocket screwdriver, and you just pop them out of the tabs on these little guys right there. And then same with this guy right here. There's just little tabs on the sides. Just pop it out with the screwdriver. And then now we just chase it all back through here. And I'll give you guys an update after that. What I'm gonna do here, you wanna get this in here right here, and cut that fucker just like this. Bang. Boom. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Alright, so far we've deleted ABS. We have somewhat started the tuck on that side. I'll do another video basically explaining the engine harness. This video really is just going to explain the body harness, so we'll do another part 2 video of the engine harness. I might start doing the manifold maybe in this one, depending on how long just this takes. But the fuse box is gone. It's so basically you just tuck all those wires through there, bring them back down through here. I still kind of I skipped some sets putting it back together. It is pretty straightforward though. If you get it apart, I mean, I'd hope that you can put it back together if you're doing this. If not, you can shoot me a comment and maybe I can help you out that way. But basically what I do with these is I just mount the fuse box down here, and then I'll use the same tab, I use the same bowl, I'll riv nut it, and then it'll be kind of almost factory-like. And then I'll build a little tab that hits right here and kind of lifts it up. So that takes care of the fuse box. And then this wiring, I'll basically disconnect it all and then snake it. Instead of snaking it up here, I'll snake it down through here, along through this frame rail, and then back up into the lights. So that's a little bit of a mission. I'll kind of touch base on this. It's pretty straightforward. There's a connector here in the fuse box that you disconnect, and then one over here, I believe. And then you can kind of work with it and get it to where you want it. But that kind of shows the fuse box. Like I said, these cars are super easy to move the fuse box. There's literally no wires at all to move, or I guess you got to move them, but to lengthen, I should say. And then as far as these wires for the engine harness, they'll kind of be hidden back over here, so you'll have to lengthen the engine harness when you do a full wire tuck, but there's a couple different ways that I'll explain that in part 2 of this wire tuck on this car. But you can either do it the kind of backyard way where you just grab some wire, crimp it, and then kind of go from there. Crimp, solder, whatever you prefer. I prefer crimp, not the plastic crimps either, just like parallel connectors with heat shrink. Or you can basically go to just a plug and play piggyback harness. So that's what I'm actually going to build for this car, is just a piggyback harness. So where you just plug these clips in, and then the harness will be lengthened 2.5-3 feet, and then it'll just plug into the back, and then it'll clean that up, and it won't be haggard or no backyard mechanics stuff. So, and I'll also do a video on kind of how to pin out pigtails and how to build a pigtail and so forth. That's pretty much it for this part. So we'll get down to basically how to tuck the manifold and the engine bay in part 2. Might touch base on this a little bit, and that'll pretty much wrap it up on how to tuck this thing pretty efficient. And then, like I said, once you tuck it and you kind of clean up the engine bay, I personally like it because you can see everything. You can see if you have a failure, a problem, a leak. It's easy to get to. So it's a little time consuming, but hopefully these videos will help people so where they can kind of do it in their garage. And like I said, these cars are probably one of the easiest cars you can move a fuse box into. So I mean, this one compared to like a newer body style 2010 14 or this 15 and up, you know, those ones require a lot more wire extending. You gotta extend the fuse box, and it's kind of a bigger fuse box, so it kind of makes things a little bit trickier. This one is super simple, it's complex, it's straightforward, and hopefully these videos will help you guys kind of relieve you from the stress of it, and I'll get to see some more tucked bays.